Hey everybody, this is Frankie Abbruzzino with an Uncensored Report. And today I essentially want to talk about oligarchies that are controlling our government and the major media, the prostitute media that is enabling this um, through some of their reporting, which is just turning into a sham. And unfortunately, during this whole political process, I've lost a lot of respect, if I had any, for journalists. Um, you know, if you're following politics, you may not be surprised that Hillary and her comrades, the prostitutes, have blamed Putin for just about everything. The latest is that they're blaming Putin for the FBI Comey's reopening of the Hillary case. How? I don't know. And why they keep pushing this Putin agenda and why they want to strive towards war with them, extending from the Ukraine to Crimea and all the other actions, is beyond me. But the prostitutes have done the next best thing for Hillary. They made Comey the issue and not Hillary. I don't know if you realize it. I saw on Fox, I think, this morning where they said they were looking at news media, and 88% of the news regarding this issue was negative on Comey versus Hillary. When did he become the enemy there? You know, you got people like this idiot, Senator Harry Reid. He says, we don't need to worry about Hillary's crimes. If anything, we need to go after Comey. You know, poor Hillary. She's just a political woman, and she's out there basically feathering her nest like many of the men have done for ages. You got the press out there, and they're basically saying that Comey's alleged crime is far more important than what we've seen coming out of the WikiLeaks on Hillary. Documented, factual stuff. Not the stuff that Hillary's been creating about Trump necessarily. You know, women. Oh, he kissed me, he groped me. It may be true, but where were you 30 years ago not telling anybody? There's nothing documented, substantial, factual out there. I haven't seen it. If someone would present it, I'd be like, yeah, that is a shame. Just like I think it is when I hear it, but hey, it's been proven that several of these women are Hillary supporters, Hillary contributors, which leaves me wondering how accurate they are and what they're trying to achieve. You know, they'll sit there and they say that basically Comey violated the Hatch Act because by telling Congress that he was going to open up this investigation, which is a altogether a strange interpretation of the Hatch Act. You know, a true violation would have been what he did back in July when Comey essentially violated the Hatch Act when he ordered the Obama Attorney General basically came out and said, it wasn't really Comey, it was both the Justice Department and FBI, came out and said that Hillary was clean. In doing so, Comey used his prestige as a federal clearance for Hillary's violation of national security protocols just to boost her standing. You know, and this election is coming down to two people that aren't likable. I'm not a huge fan of Trump. He's not very likable. I'm not a huge fan of Hillary. So it comes down to policies and which one's going to have the better policies. You know, Hillary, her standing in the polls is based upon overweighted Hillary supporters in the polls. They'll go out and do a 2-to-1 poll with weighing heavy on Democrats. So it's easy to produce this overweight thing with your supporters getting all the poll questions. But if you go out, you look at the crowds attending these events. Anybody can sit there if they're honest and say they're all going there to see Trump. Just like they all went there to see Bernie. And we know how the system was rigged against Bernie, how his own Democratic Party worked against him. It's clear to many American people that Trump is the favored person there. You know, and Trump opposes war with Russia and China. And this should be a big issue, especially right now, folks, with what's going on in the South China Sea, with what's going on in the Middle East, with what's going on with Crimea and the Ukraine. This should be an important issue. But the problem is that Hillary's problem is that she's got a ruling American oligarchy. And she's essentially a servant to them, the Rothschilds of today. They're going to do what they can with Trump to ensure that he doesn't win. I don't know, who knows? Maybe his fate will be like John F. Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, anybody that gets in their way. Maybe some hotel queen will come out in the last minute and say, hey, yeah, He groped me. I don't know if you guys remember Strauss-Kahn. He was going to be the president of France. At the last minute, some maid came out and said, "Oh, you sexually attacked me, blah, blah, blah." And next thing you know, he falls off into oblivion. Will that be it? Will this weekend, will we hear some story like that has no truth to it about Trump? Or even for that matter about Clinton? No truth to it, but it'll be put out there. And people will have that in their head when they go to the polls on Tuesday. Who knows? Maybe it'll be done here at the local level against me in my bid for mayor. All the Americans, and feminists, progressives, all of them out there remnant for the, they reminate for a frame-up similar to what Strauss went through when it comes to Trump. Are we going to see that? This American oligarchy out there, they destroy those that suspects might serve in its interest. They're corrupt. They're self-serving. And they make sure that its own government, its own media, yes, the media is owned by them, the think tanks, more and more so with the universities, are thinking and doing what they want in the terms that they want. The oligarchs are now hard-pressed. They need to rescue Hillary. It'll save them a lot of heartache down the road. Clinton, back in the closing years of the 20th century, they allowed just these small handful of mega corporations, I believe there's 6 now, that own most of the media outlets that are out there. It was a vast increase of power for the oligarchy out there. Despite antitrust laws, these media mergers went through. And now most of the media is controlled by these 6 foreign entities, many of them foreign entities, controlling what we hear on a daily basis. It's amazing what I hear on national major media compared to what I'm reading out there. Totally different story. Completely different story. And now they want to try to control what alternative media is putting out there, because they want to control the message. And what does federal law mean? What does it mean to like the 1%? Basically, what we've seen happen with Hillary, it means nothing. It means that power makes you immune to the law. Hillary crimes might cost her the election, but I guarantee you, she will not go to jail like we would. And no content, these oligarchies aren't just content with 90% of the media. Like I said, they want a concentration, they want control, they want to come after alternative media. They want to use such departments like the FTC to get out there, monopolize their interest. And the federal government to enforce federal law. What we now have is a similar situation to banks too big to fail, insurance companies too big to fail, unregulated internet monopoly. So long ago, there was a field of economics out there. When I went through my college years, it was called antitrust. I was a business law major. It was a huge thing, but now I don't think they're teaching that, and I don't think it exists any longer out there. It's lost all meaning, especially when you look at the media conglomerates and how they're all swallowed up. And we got to be worried about this because they're controlling the message, and they're essentially turning into propaganda pieces for the oligarchs out there. And they're controlling our destiny here in America. So be a free thought thinker. Be a free thinker. Get out there and look at different media sources. That's why I try to put a ton out there, left and right. You got to go beyond what you see on TV with the 4 major media outlets here in the United States. This has been Frankie with the Uncensored Report.